Okay, Peter here. So this isn't one of my normal videos or whatever, and that, but it's to do with making videos well, I make a lot of videos, but you need to have lots of skills to make websites, and video editing and uploading, and that's all part of it. But then also is making web pages, and so I've been making web pages lately, and I've been using Google Sites, and it's fantastic. You can actually host your website on Google for free at the moment, which is great. And so a free website, you can register your domain on Google as well. So rather than having two accounts with hosting and domain and all that rubbish, and Google's a pretty big company, so I'm not worried about them, folding up. I've had lots of websites for my book and that over the years. And inevitably something happens. The company goes broke that was hosting it, and then I lose all of the data, or my IT guy, doesn't back it up, or something. Anyway, so for like 20 years, I've had an unending battle with paying IT people to do websites for me. I've been using Google Sites now for about the last 3 months, and it's just so simple and easy to use. It's like Wix or whatever, but the benefit though is that it's with Google as opposed to Wix. So then all of everything's with Google. So I think that's cool. But anyway, uh, one little problem I did run into though is that I've got all my domain names. So if I just go back here, I've got all my domain names here, and I can go to get a new domain with Google, and I can type in and register whatever domain with Google, which is great. Uh, but then I built my sites on Sites and Google Sites, and then they wouldn't connect. And so when I'd finished, like this is my one for my book here. If I go to see some of these here, they say they're on Google Sites, right? So Google Sites website, right? but but these one here, I've built the site, but I couldn't connect it, and I couldn't find out anywhere on YouTube how to connect your domain name that you registered with Google to the site. Now, now the problem is that in Sites itself, Google Sites, you can click Create a Site, and then you create a site, and over in Google Domains you can buy a domain, but it just the way to link them together isn't obvious. And so if we click on Manage here, I'm not a Google expert, and somebody that's or a website expert, somebody that is, probably would know exactly how to do it. But like I'm over here going, well, domain name servers in my other domains down here. There's a tab here under synthetic records, email forwarding. There's actually a tab that says Google Sites. And so how do you add it in here? Do you forward it to the Google Sites, URL or that? And I mucked around doing all of that crap. You wouldn't believe how I fixed the problem. Like I emailed Google and everything, and I couldn't get around this problem. But it's just really not well spelt out here. If you go back to domain overview, right? And you go to build a site. So build a website. Now I don't want to build one because I've already built one, and so that makes no sense to me. And then I'm on here again where it says build a website or forward an existing site. So I don't I went into forward an existing site, and it had all of these options in there too, where I scratched my head and I couldn't get anything to do it. But in the end, it's actually, you click on build a website again, right? And then you go down here, and it's still not obvious what's going on. But you just build a simple website with Google. And this is what I love about the Google thing now, is it's so easy to get started building a site. And I've got a heap of sites and I'm not paying for hosting. I pay for the domain name, but at the moment the hosting's free. So it might not always be free, but it like you can pay for one of these other sites. And the cool thing about the hosted site is that then you can get the widgets and plug them in to the Google simple site, and make like a storefront and everything that you need to do with it. So it's really quite a good product. Anyway, back to connecting them up. Simple sites, continue, and now it finally says start a new site or use an existing site with Google Sites. Now, don't you think that they should have put a button up the front somewhere that said, do you want to connect an existing site? Not hidden all the way down in here. But anyway, so use an existing site, and now I'm not sure what it'll do, but yep, I don't know why it's doing that. Oh yeah, that's a list of my existing sites. So now I can connect up the one that I built for the WASAS book site. There we go. So then it'll connect that subdomain now to my Google Sites site, which is great. So also redirect that to the book site. Yep. Okay. So and then connect the site. There you go. So I mean, that was a long-winded explanation, and I'm sorry. I'll put the shorter version in the comments, description. But it, I worked for ages to try and figure out how to do that, and so now the sites should be connected, and now I should be able to go in and let's see whether I can bring up my site. Why are you still slave.com? Why are you still a slave.com? Yeah, well, they say it takes 48 hours to connect them, but anyway, so it's not there yet. What about if we put a www in front of that? Does that make a difference? No, not yet. Refresh. No. Okay. Anyway, but I hope that helps somebody find out how to connect their Google Sites. It only happens when you buy a domain and you built the site separately, that then connecting the two together becomes a little bit harder. All right.